Raised her champagne glass and announced that my sister was getting her 3.8 million house. Then she looked straight at me and said, "You are getting nothing." Everyone uploaded until 12 minutes later when the realtor walked into the room holding a folder that changed everything. My name is Claire, and for most of my life I was the daughter my family assumed would be fine without anything. My older sister Madison was always the favorite. She was charming, confident, beautiful, and somehow always knew exactly what to say to make our parents proud. I was different. I was quite responsible and independent. My parents used to say Claire does not need help. She can take care of herself. I eventually learned that in my family, being independent was both a compliment and punishment. When Madison wanted a new car at 22, Dad helped her buy one. When I graduated from college, I bought my own used Honda and started paying off my student loan. When Madison got married 3 years later, Mom said, "We are so happy for you," and gave us a kitchen mixer. I was not angry about the money. I was angry because if it felt like they had already decided which daughter mattered more. Still, I built my own life. I worked in financial consulting, saved aggressively, bought a small house outside Atlanta, and eventually started my own investment business. I never told my family how well things were going. I knew exactly what would happen. Medicine would turn it into a competition, and I was tired of competing. Then 2 years ago our father died unacceptably. After his funeral, Mom changed. She became quiet and started talking constantly about the family home. It was a beautiful poetry in a wealthy neighborhood just outside Carliston, South Carolina. My parents had bought it decades earlier when nobody accepted the area to become so expensive. By the time Dad died, real estate prices had exploded. Realtor estimated the house was worth nearly 3.8 million. Mom told me she wanted to sell it. "I don't need this much house anymore," she said. I agreed. If selling makes you happier, Mom, you should do it. But Madison disagreed. She called me that same night. You cannot let Mom sell the house. Why? Because Dad wanted me to have it. I was confused. Did he tell you that? She paced. Everyone knew that was not true. At least I had never heard it. A few months later, Madison started visiting Moma almost every day. Then she started calling the house my house. I noticed, but I stayed quiet. Mom eventually hired a realtor named Susan and started preparing the property for sale. Then 3 weeks before Mom's birthday, something strange happened. Mom called me. "Claire, I need you to help me with some paperwork." I drove to her house. She handed me a folder and explained that she had been overwhelmed by everything involving the property. I trusted you to read through this and make sure I understand what I am signing. I helped her organize the documents. One document caught my attention. It was an estate planning agreement created after dad's death. The house was not being given directly to either daughter. Instead, mom had placed it inside a family trust. Both Madison and I were listened as beneficiaries, but mom retained complete control of the property while she was alive. I asked her if Madison knew mom's side. She thinks she does. That answer worried me. Then came mom's 16th birthday. Almost 30 relatives and family friends gathered at an elegant country club. Everything looked perfect. There were flowers on the tables, champagne glasses everywhere, and a huge birthday cake waiting near the dance floor. Madison sat beside mom with a smile that immediately made me suspicious. After dinner, mom stood up. She tapped her glass. Everyone became quiet. I have an announcement, she said. She looked at Madison. I have decided that my house will belong to Madison. The room erupted in applause. Madison smiled proudly. Then mom looked at me and Clara won't receive anything. Someone at the table laughed. Awak wildly, I felt my face get hot, but I did not argue. Instead, I reached into my purse and checked my phone. There was one new email from Susan, the realtor. The subject line read, Urgent, please call me immediately. I opened it. The message said, Claire, I just received new instructions regarding the property. Please call me before the closing documents are finalized. I looked at the time stamp. The email had received 2 minutes earlier. I stood up and walked toward the hallway. I called Susan. What happened? She sounded nervous. Clara, your mother told me to stop the transfer. What transfer? The one medicine has been ongoing. My stomach dropped. Medicine. Susan lowered her voice. She has been telling everyone your mother agreed to transfer the house to her. I looked back through the doorway. Madison was still smiling. I whispered, Don't do anything until I arrive. Then I walked back into the room. 12 minutes later, Susan entered the dining room crying a thick folder. I am sorry, she said, but I need to clarify something. Everyone stopped talking. Mom looked confused. Susan opened the folder. Your mother never legally transferred this property to Madison. Madison stood up. What are you talking about? Susan looked at her. The house is held in a trust. Your mother remains the legal decision maker. Madison's face changed, but mom promised me. Mom looked at her daughter. I said I was considering it. No, you said it was mine. I never signed it over. Madison turned toward me. You did this. I shook my head. No, mom did. Susan then explain what had really happened. medicine had been pursuing mom for months to give her the house. She had even arranged paperwork with an attorney without fully explaining the consequences to mom. Mom had finally realized what was happening and asked me to help her review everything. The birthday announcement had been made because medicine convinced mom that the family would accept her to announce the inheritance publicly, but the legal documents said something completely different. The house belonged to the trust, not medicine, not me, and definitely not of whoever could make the loudest claim at the birthday dinner. Mom looked at Madison. I love you, she said, but I will not let you pressure me into giving away something I have not decided to give away. Madison started crying for the first time. Nobody rushed to comfort her. Mom eventually sold the property. She bought a similar home near the coast, invested the remaining money, and updated her estate plan. She also made one everything very clear. Whatever happened to her money after she died would be decided by her, not by whichever daughter demanded it first. A few months later, mom apologized to me. She said something I will never forget. I always thought you did not need me. I smiled sadly. I did not need your money, mom. She looked at me. I knew, but I finally realized you still wanted to feel like my daughter. That sentence broke through years of resentment. I realized something that night. I had spent years trying to prove that I did not care about being treated differently, but I did care, not because I wanted medicine's house, not because I wanted millions of dollars. I wanted my parents to see more, and finally my mother did medicine, and I still are not as close as we once were. Maybe we never will be, but it's okay with her, because I learned that you don't always have to fight for your place in family. Sometimes you simply have to stop fighting. Let people make their assumptions. Let them celebrate too early. Let them believe they have already won, because eventually the truth has a way of working, and when it does, you don't need to scream, you don't need revenge, you just need to stand there and let the truth speak for itself. If you enjoy this story, make sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on notification, and stay tuned for more emotional stories. And thank you so much for watching.